In the bustling world of Columbia University's School of Fine Arts, Louise Harrington, a 39-year-old admissions officer, leads a life of quiet routine. Intelligent, beautiful, and successful, yet carrying a void within, she moves through her days like a spectator rather than a participant. But her carefully constructed life takes a breathtaking turn when a graduate school application lands on her desk. The name on the application, F. Scott Feinstadt, sends shivers down her spine. The name is identical to her first love, a passionate young artist who died tragically in a car accident 20 years ago. Intrigued, she arranges an interview with the applicant, not prepared for the uncanny resemblance he bears to the love she lost. His voice, his demeanor, even his artistic style, it all feels like a ghost from the past. Dressed in an alluring yet professional outfit, Louise meets Scott. The tension is instant. There's something about him, his piercing gaze, his familiar way of speaking, that rekindles a long-buried fire in her heart. Their interview is brief, but the connection is undeniable. Moments later, before she can overanalyze her actions, they find themselves in a passionate embrace, the boundaries of propriety slipping away like grains of sand. As their affair deepens, Louise is thrown into an emotional whirlwind. Is Scott truly just a young artist looking for admission, or is he something more? A reincarnation of her lost love? The uncanny similarities unnerve her, yet she cannot pull away. Each touch, each kiss, feels like a second chance at happiness. But reality has a cruel way of intervening. Enter Missy, Louise's former best friend from high school, who has always been a thorn in her side. Missy, a whirlwind of chaos and competition, arrives with an agenda of her own. She sets her sights on Scott, openly flirting and reminding Louise of the past betrayals. Louise is forced to confront her insecurities and question whether history is repeating itself. As if that weren't enough, Louise's ex-husband, Peter, remains a lingering presence in her life. Their dynamic is one of unspoken regrets and unresolved tensions. He drops by unannounced, throwing cryptic remarks about their past, hinting at his own misdeeds, yet somehow always offering a twisted form of support. It's clear he still holds on to fragments of what they once were. Then there's her mother, cynical and overbearing, never missing a chance to chip away at Louise's confidence. Family wounds run deep, and with her recovering addict brother adding to the emotional weight, Louise is suffocating under the pressure of her past and present colliding. Yet, in Scott's arms, everything melts away. He is youth, passion, and the promise of something new. But is their connection real, or is she projecting her grief onto him? She starts digging into his past, looking for answers that might not exist. Her obsession with finding a rational explanation threatens to unravel what they have built. During an art gallery visit, Scott unveils his latest work, a hauntingly familiar painting. It's a near replica of something her lost love once painted. The resemblance is too striking to be a coincidence. Confusion clouds her mind. Is this destiny, or is something more sinister at play? Torn between ecstasy and self-destruction, Louise pushes Scott away, questioning his motives. Is he using her to gain entry into the Ivy League? Is this an elaborate manipulation, or is he genuinely drawn to her? Scott, hurt and bewildered, pleads for her to see him for who he is, not a ghost, not a replacement, but a man who loves her. With emotions at their peak, Louise flees to her childhood home, seeking solace in the past. She sifts through old letters and photographs, searching for answers. But the past doesn't hold what she's looking for, only the present does. Realization dawns. Love, in any form, is fleeting, and if she doesn't seize it now, she might lose it forever. Returning to New York, she finds Scott waiting, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and heartbreak. In a moment of clarity, she chooses to let go of the fear, the doubts, and the weight of history. She embraces the unknown, allowing herself to fall, not into the past, but into something new and real. Their love story is not conventional. It's messy, unpredictable, and wrapped in layers of memory and second chances. But in the end, it's theirs. And that's what makes it beautiful. She takes him by the hand, leading him through the streets of New York, no longer haunted by yesterday. She introduces him to the places she once cherished with her lost love, but now they are painted in new colors. They laugh, they cry, they live in the moment. But doubts creep in. Scott begins to pull away. The pressure of being compared to a ghost is too much. He needs space. Louise panics. Is she losing him too? Is history about to repeat itself? One evening, she follows him to his studio, desperate for answers. There, she finds him staring at a half-finished painting. It's of her, but different. It's not the past Louise, it's her now. Vulnerable, uncertain, but alive. "I don't want to be someone's second chance," he whispers. "I want to be your first choice." The words hit hard. She realizes she's been holding on too tightly to ghosts. It's time to let go. She takes a deep breath and tells him, "You are my choice." Their love is uncertain, imperfect and fragile, but it's theirs. She decides to move forward, embracing the unknown. She invites Scott to a secluded getaway, a place where she once found solace. They sit under the stars, sharing their deepest fears and wildest dreams. Scott confesses his own struggles, revealing how he's always lived under the shadow of expectations. Louise sees him for who he truly is. Not a replacement, not a fantasy, but a man with his own wounds. Their passion reignites, but this time, it's different. It's not about escaping the past, it's about creating something real. As the sun rises, they return to the city, hand in hand. Louise is no longer trapped by memories. She is free. Scott is accepted into Columbia, but their story is just beginning. They build something new, something separate from the past. Louise reflects on the journey, realizing love is never perfect. It's raw, uncertain, and ever-changing. But for the first time in years, she is truly living. Scott's paintings begin to evolve. They are no longer haunted by the past, but inspired by their present. The colors are richer, the strokes more confident. Their love story might not be written in the stars, but it is written in the moments they share. She watches as Scott prepares his first major exhibition. His art, once echoing shadows of her past, now breathes with the vibrancy of their shared future. As she stands by his side, she knows this love is not about rewriting old chapters, but starting a new story altogether. As the days pass, Louise and Scott's relationship grows stronger. They begin to build a life together, free from the shadows of the past. Their conversations are filled with laughter, the kind that comes with being fully present in the moment, without the weight of old wounds pulling them back. Louise finds herself finally able to release the ghosts of her previous love, something she had clung to for far too long. Scott's artwork continues to evolve, inspired by the love they share. He begins to capture not just the stillness of moments, but the emotions that swirl within them. His paintings are no longer replicas of the past, but vivid depictions of their shared reality. With each stroke, he creates a new story, one that belongs only to them. Despite their growing bond, there are still moments of doubt. Louise often finds herself questioning whether she truly deserves this love, or if she's simply running away from her unresolved grief. She fears that she might inadvertently damage the fragile connection they've formed by overthinking and holding on to old scars. But Scott is patient. He reminds her, time and time again, that they are creating something beautiful together, free from the past. One night, after a long day, they sit on the couch together, wrapped in the comfort of each other's presence. Scott leans over and kisses her forehead, something that feels both tender and grounding. Louise smiles softly, realizing that for the first time in years, she feels at peace. The weight of the past, once so heavy, has finally lifted, leaving only the promise of a future filled with possibility. As the months go by, Louise finds herself becoming more involved in Scott's artistic journey. She attends gallery openings, helps him with his exhibitions, and supports him in ways she never thought possible. In doing so, she reawakens a passion for art that she had long buried beneath the routine of her life. Her once stagnant existence has blossomed into something vibrant and alive. Scott, too, grows as an individual. His confidence blooms as he receives more recognition for his work, and the bond between him and Louise strengthens. Yet, despite the newfound success, they both remain grounded in the quiet moments they share. There's a mutual understanding that what they have is rare and worth protecting. However, as with any love story, challenges still arise. The pressures of balancing their personal and professional lives sometimes strain their relationship. There are days when the weight of expectations, both their own and those of others, threaten to break them apart. But they always find their way back to each other, holding on to the belief that love is worth fighting for, even when the world seems to push them in different directions. One particularly difficult evening after a particularly trying day, Louise and Scott have a heart-to-heart conversation. Louise confesses her lingering fears about their future. She worries about the inevitable changes that time will bring and whether they'll still be able to weather those changes together. Scott, ever the steady force, reassures her that change is inevitable, but it doesn't have to tear them apart. He reminds her that love, when built on trust and understanding, can endure anything. Over time, Scott's paintings evolve even further. His work takes on a new direction, focusing less on the past and more on the present. His paintings reflect the depth of their relationship, complex, layered, and constantly changing. Each canvas tells a story of growth, of love that isn't perfect but is real and beautiful in its imperfections. They continue to build a life together, step by step, learning to navigate the highs and lows of their evolving love story. Louise finds herself dreaming again, not of a past she can never reclaim, but of a future she can shape with Scott by her side. There's a sense of hope that fills her heart, a quiet certainty that the best is yet to come. And as they walk hand in hand through the streets of New York, their love story unfolds like a masterpiece, painted not with the colors of the past, but with the vibrant hues of a future they are creating together, moment by moment. In the end, Louise realizes that it's not the ghosts of the past that matter, but the love they share in the present. This is their story, and it's enough. Like, share, and subscribe for more movie recommendations.